Hey everybody, I'm Katallina, and today we're here to talk about episode 13 of Tower of God Season 2. In today's episode, we seem to get one more story beat where we're going through the preparations needed for the characters to be able to take part in the workshop battle that we've been working toward for a good chunk of the season. And it's really interesting because there are a variety of different teams getting ready to actually be involved in this. And we get some quick glimpses of some of those, but of course we are primarily with Khun, who is with the team we've spent the majority of the time with here in Season 2. And it's really interesting to see the interactions and the contrast between Khun and the members of Baam's team that he was with before he was taken away during the situation that happened over the last few episodes. And I think my favorite thing about this whole thing was actually the insights that we got from Dan, who seems very much more aware of the idea that Khun is used to winning everything and is used to everything being easy because Khun is used to just going out, getting the best people, and then being able to move them like pieces on a chessboard. He's used to having a rook, a castle, a knight, a queen. He's not used to having 10 pawns. And it's going to be a very interesting thing to see how he is going to deal with that pressure, because it was clearly getting to him as he was working with these guys. And I mean, he was doing a decent enough job at keeping a straight face in front of them, but he was having a much harder time actually remaining calm when he was thinking about it afterward. It seemed to be really stressing him out. And I find it very interesting that it was stressing him out, because Khun is not used to being stressed out, and as such was confused by the anxiety and jitters that the people in this party were actually feeling as they went to go and do a test that would get them ready to actually go to the 30th floor. I think it's an interesting choice on the show's part that the emphasis was on the emotional situations happening with the various characters, rather than placing a heavy emphasis on actually showing us actual testing or fights today. We really focused a lot more on the training and basically like a mini training montage for the characters, showing us their progression, their determination, and making a month worth of training move forward for us in the blink of an eye. On one hand, I definitely can understand if there are some people who are saying like, show don't tell, but at the same time, given that this is a anime series and that we only have so much time to actually give to things, I can understand the idea that the show wants to move us forward and essentially get to the meat and stop trying to give us the breadsticks. I get that. I can see where that's coming from. I also found it interesting seeing Baam interact with Khun's friends and how they're dealing with the fact that he's being nice to them and how they don't understand who he is and why he cares about Khun. And I'm still definitely very annoyed with the Fug characters overall. I really don't like them. I find them really scummy. I'm not implying that I necessarily think that I should find them nice. I mean, they're terrorists. They're supposed to be dangerous, but at the same time, I find them incredibly frustrating because it's very obvious that they are using Baam in so many ways, and it's so frustrating to see him have obtained these powers but have such limitations on his own free will, because I can't think of much that's more frustrating than having all of these amazing skills and talents and everything, but not being able to set the course of your own destiny. But I mean, that seems to be a running theme, both for him in his situation with Fug, as well as for his new friends who are trying to get him back during this upcoming battle, especially with the anxiety that they are feeling. These are characters who, for lack of any better comparison, are essentially like Baam from Season 1. They're not very strong. They have great individual personalities and ideas and all that sort of thing, which can make them very endearing, which is wonderful. But they are not, as I said before, rooks and castles and knights and queens. They are pawns, and that's going to be very difficult for Khun to work with. Basically, he's like a trained samurai going into a fight with a wooden sword against somebody who is using a machine gun. That's going to be ugly. And I mean, that's something that he's definitely going to have to contend with. One thing I do wonder, when Dan was like thinking about the distinction between what Khun is used to and what Khun has at his disposal now, is I wonder whether Dan was including himself in the category of competence or in the category of people who are now going to be struggling. Because, I mean, we all know that Dan just went through something really, truly terrible. And I think that it's interesting that we saw him more so reflecting on the other characters, but we didn't really get a clear sense of how he currently views himself, which is something that I hope we do get to explore to some extent, because, I mean, dude went through some shit, you know? So there's definitely that. Overall, though, I mean, for what this episode was, I think they did a good job. I also think it's really important that they at least indicated clearly to the audience that these characters have taken some time, that they have made some improvement, and that they are on a different level than what they were on, so that when they move forward and ideally they succeed, I mean, we are all hoping, right? It will be much more buyable, because if they just stayed at the level they were at and didn't actually show logical steps of improvement, that would be much harder to believe, and it would like disrupt suspension of disbelief, which is never a good thing. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. I'd love to know what you guys are thinking, so drop a comment below and let me know, and I'll talk to you in the next video. See you later. Bye!